Break the board sports. It's Wednesday, hump day, hockey in the NHL. 4 games. Click that like, hit subscribe. We're going to go through all 4 games, give you the best trends and angles to help you come up with your own bets. We will give some leans and some plays, but let's hop right into it. Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Check out all of our content. Game 3 ALCS. We have that already out. We got a Steelers Bengals preview show that's out, along with the college football doubleheader going off tonight. Check all those out. And again, click a like, hit subscribe. Let's hop right into it. First game on the board, we got the Florida Panthers visiting the Detroit Red Wings. The Panthers are laying $1.42 on the road. Comeback plus 120 on the hometown Red Wings. 76% of bets, 75% of the handle going to the Florida Panthers. 24% of tickets, 25% of the handle going to the Red Wings. Now that over under 5.5, and this is a recurring theme, that you'll hear, especially early in the hockey season, goalie play not really up to par. You're going to see a lot of overs and a lot of money going to the over. 80% of tickets, 76% of the handle going to the over 5.5 in this game. 20% of tickets, 24% of the handle looking towards the under. Florida 3-1 coming out straight up this year. They're 1-3 on the puck line. Detroit 2-1 straight up, 2-1 ATS. Again, I'm not a guy on the puck line. I think one of the biggest sucker bets that we get into. Everybody wants to avoid juice, and I think you should avoid juice because units is where it's at, right? You can be 100 games over, but only pick up 18 units, right? Consequently, you can be 25 games under 500, but only make 2 units, right? So juice is important, and it factors into unit size, but just me personally, laying a goal and a half or laying a run and a half in baseball, both of those very dicey, especially hockey, man. You see so many open net goals, so many just stupid, dumb things happen. You can handicap a hockey game to the absolute T and still get burned sometimes. Head-to-head, Florida has taken 7 of the last 10 matchups between these two teams. Hopping into some betting trends here, the total has went over 8 of the last 11 games the Florida Panthers have played in, and it's went over 5 of the last 7 Detroit's played in. Staying with that over trend, 5 straight road games, the puck has went over the total that the Florida Panthers have played. However, when these two teams match up head-to-head, the overs go away. 6 of the last 7 have actually went under the total. If you could find a 6, might be appetizing to take the under 6 goals here in this game if there's a 6 hanging around out there. Detroit been very good at home. We've seen them beat the Toronto Maple Leafs already twice this year. Detroit 5-1 straight up their last 6 at home, 5-2 straight up their last 7 overall. But Florida, they're 5-1 as well in their last 6. But more importantly, head-to-head, Florida's really dominated this series. 13-3 over the last 16 meetings, 13 of those going to the Florida Panthers. If you look at the last 10 games, though, at home, Red Wings, 8 of the last 10 they have won at home. Last 10 games as a favorite, Panthers 7-3, but as the last 10 games as a road favorite, 5-5. As a dog, ATS, Red Wings, 5 straight wins in a row as a road dog, or as a dog period, rather. So getting a goal and a half, they have won 5 straight there. But again, that's just a trend that's really tricky that I really don't like to hop into. Like I said, there is a couple 6s starting to be out there. You can get under 6 minus $1.20. And that's the way I'm going to lean today in this hockey game. I like the under 6 in the Red Wings, Florida Panthers, minus $1.20. That's going to be the play on that game that I go with personally. Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Next game, let's go through. The Ottawa Senators will visit the Buffalo Sabres. Senators laying $1.20 on the road, even money for the Sabres. 54% of bets to the Senators, but that's only equating to 34% of the handle. 66% of bets going to the Buffalo Sabres, 46% rather, 66 is the handle there. Now that over under 5.5, 73% of tickets, 90% of the handle to the over, only 10% of the money heading to the under. So again, just overwhelming support for the over. It's going to be that way here early in the year. Ottawa comes into this 1-2 straight up and ATS. Buffalo, who we just knew weren't going to be very good, 0-3 straight up and ATS, yet to get a point on the board here in the young NHL season. However, head-to-head, Buffalo Sabres have taken 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two, and they've taken 4 straight. So that gives them a glimmer of hope. Last 10 games as a home underdog, Sabres 7-3, both straight up and on the puck line. So home underdog has been very nice to them. If you're thinking about laying a goal and a half on the road with the Senators, I would advise against that. Against the spread, laying the goal and a half on the road as a favorite, 2-8 is the Ottawa Senators in that situation. So that's not something that's very advantageous for you. A couple more trends. Ottawa has played to the over 10 of the last 14 games. The under, though, is cashed 4 of the last 5 for Buffalo. We talked about Buffalo starting out 0-3, and neither one of these teams are very good. Ottawa, 3-6 straight up their last 9, and 2-5 straight up on the road. Buffalo, again, they haven't been very good either. 1-7 straight up their last 8. But here's where I would look to Buffalo and say, hey, this is something you can get behind. Buffalo is 14-5 at home over their last 19. Very strong home record there, winning at about a 73% clip at home. And they're 5-1 at home when they play Ottawa. Remember, we said they've taken 7 of the last 10. And along with that, they've also been able to rip off 4 straight. Buffalo Sabres even money tonight. Going to go ahead and take them to get off the schneid, get their first win. I'll take the Buffalo Sabres, and not only am I going to take them, I'm going to take them for a double unit. So plus 100 even money, double unit on the Sabres. That's going to be a play. Under 6 will be a play in the Detroit game. Next game on the board, let's go with the Calgary Flames facing the Utah Mammoth. Right now, the Mammoth laying 230 at home, plus 190 on the comeback for the Calgary Flames. Now that over-under is setting at 6.5, but it's juiced minus $1.40 to the under at FanDuel. Right now, 72% of tickets going to the Mammoth, 28% going to the Calgary Flames. As far as the money, that's a little tighter as far as the money line goes. 53% of the money on Utah, 47% of the money on Calgary. Now that over-under, 6.5, as we said, all over all the time, 81% of tickets and 93% of the handle going to the over. The books, though, books don't get beat up right now in hockey. It really takes, you get into the playoff realm when they really start getting a hit. So as a bettor, you can really make hay in hockey if your handicapping's on here early in the season. But only 7% of the bets going to that under in the Utah-Calgary game. When you look a little closer as far as the season, Calgary 1-3, both straight up in ATS. Utah 1-2 straight up and ATS. Now, Utah has won all 3 meetings between these two teams in this series. So Calgary yet to get on the board against Utah here. Quick trends on this one, though there's not a lot. Utah 10-5 straight up their last 15 at home. If you go back to Utah's time when they were in Phoenix, though, if you really wind the clock back, Calgary is 10-4 straight up the last 14. Just the last 3 have been taken by Utah. That over has cashed 8 of the last 9 games for Calgary, and it has cashed 5 of the last 7 against Utah on the road. But remember, out of those 7, 6 of them, they were in Arizona. So kind of got to take that out of the equation. When I look at this game, I think that's too big of a price for Utah to be laying. I would look to the Calgary Flames here. I think that's the better way to look if you're looking at betting this game. So the lean would be Calgary plus $1.90. I'm not going to have anything on it, but that would be my lean. The nightcap for tonight in the National Hockey League, let's go down to St. Louis, laying 230, comeback plus 195 on the Blackhawks. 84% of tickets and 76% of the handle is on the hometown Blues. 16% of tickets and only 24% of the handle is on the Blackhawks. Now, that over-under, 5.5 at DraftKings, 79% of tickets, 93% to the over. Again, just overwhelming support for the over. Only 21% of tickets and 7% of the handle to the under there with the 5.5. If you go to FanDuel and you want to get the under 5.5, they'll give you a little extra there, plus 104, but juiced minus 128 to the over at FanDuel. So again, you always have to have multiple betting outlets so you can shop around, get the best price. There's a couple places you can even get the Blackhawks plus 205 if that interests you. But I can see where that would be hard to do because 8 of the last 10 meetings have went to the Blues. And on top of that, the Blues have beat the Blackhawks 5 straight in 7 of the last 8. They've really dominated Chicago in every way, shape, or form here as of late. Chicago just 6-14 straight up their last 20 overall. The over is cash for the last 5 games for the Blackhawks on the road. Again, when these two teams, we already gave you the head-to-head, Blues have taken 8 out of 10 against the Blackhawks. But listen to this. When they play in St. Louis, the Chicago Blackhawks are just 1-10 the last 11 meetings in St. Louis. Not very good, as old ball coach Steve Spurrier would say. The over is cashed 7 of the last 8 games for the Blues. And when these two teams play heads up, 4 out of the last 5 have went over the total. The Blues, we talked about it, 10-1 straight up the last 11 at home against the Blackhawks. But the Blues have also been so tough at home. 15-1 straight up their last 16 home games. Just an absolute incredible run that the St. Louis Blues have been on. For me in this one, not going to have a play, but I got to tell you again, call me a sucker. I'd take the Blackhawks here, getting plus $2. I would even look at Blackhawks here, plus a goal and a half, minus $1.34. So again, FanDuel always lets you do some really cool things, and I'm always appreciative of them and what they do. DraftKings does it as well. They do a great job. But if you're just playing around here to see what you can get, you can go today over 2.5 runs for the Toronto Blue Jays, which I think the Blue Jays scratch at least 3 in this. I know George Kirby's been good. Check out that baseball show. Click like, hit subscribe for that. Click a like and hit subscribe for this one. But I like the Blue Jays over 2.5 alt total. I really love that. If you were to put it with the Blackhawks plus 2.5 goals, right? Because, again, they allow you to do that. And then you went over, and remember we were talking about that over-under in the Red Wings and the Florida Panthers. You could do the alt goal there and go under 7.5. So under 7.5 plus 2.5 goals for the Blackhawks and over 2.5 runs in the Blue Jays. That would get you plus 158. That's going to be an official play. So official plays as we finish up here, Break the Board Sports. Today we're going to go with that parlay just said for a whole unit over 2.5 total runs, alt runs for the Blue Jays. We're going to do the Chicago Blackhawks plus 2.5 goals, and we're going to do the under 7.5 in the Detroit Red Wings, Florida Panthers alt total under 7.5. That's plus 158. We're going to do that for a single unit. And then also we're going to take the Buffalo Sabres even money plus 100 for a double unit play. And then we'll throw the half unit on the Red Wings under 6 goals. So that's what we'll do for that today. So in total, you got a half unit, unit and a half on the comeback for the parlay, and then the double unit even money. So everything very, very well juiced out, very well looking at unit size. We won't get juiced out with losses today. Was able to scale those back and help you out. Again, hopefully, even if you're not following me and you decide to fade me, hopefully, if nothing else, gave you some trends and some stats to think about so you can handicap your own games. Again, that's what I'm all about, giving you information to help you become a better handicapper. Good luck, God bless, and happy handicapping.